So Tekken 8 is surprisingly really good. I was entering into this with pretty low expectations and I was so pleasantly surprised by the end product with this game as it was just so good. And on that point, this is not going to be a traditional video game review as there are tons of people who have done that already. So instead, I'm going to be focusing solely on the storyline, which like I said, I was really pleasantly surprised by. And I've always thought that Tekken from a storyline perspective isn't as good as Mortal Kombat or Soul Calibur, which are just so much more advanced from a storyline perspective. But I feel like Tekken are really quickly catching up. The past entries from a storyline perspective have been so focused on the Mishima Kazama storylines. And don't get me wrong, of course this one is as well. But I just feel like it encompasses all of the broader characters into the wider storyline in such a good way. And it just has so many cinematic moments. And I love how every single game pretty much ends on a massive cliffhanger. And Tekken 8 is no different. So I can't wait for Tekken 9. As is just going to be so good. But as far as Tekken 8 is concerned, I've always loved the characters of Kazuya and Jin as they are just such complex characters, such powerful beasts of characters, and the fact that they've both got the devil gene in them makes them so interesting. And so given the fact that this storyline is all about the clash of these two characters, it was already going to be so successful as I just loved those moments. And I love the fact that it starts with these two guys having a bit of a confrontation and it ends with that as well. And you just see so much growth with both of these characters. It was just put together honestly so well. And of course Heihachi is now dead following the end of Tekken 7 and so Kazuya has been able to assume all of the control of G Corporation and everything that Heihachi stood for, and you can really see the villainous, evil, burning side of Kazuya as he is just so driven by power, just wanting to destroy the world, make it in his image, just want to control everything, and you can just see how devilish this guy really is, no pun intended. And I love how Shakespearean the storyline is as well, as Shakespeare goes on and on and on about how the son will kill the father and having to atone for the father's sins, and all of that is definitely interwoven into the fabric of this storyline, given that of course Kazuya is Jin's father. And I loved his cleverness in trying to assume Azazel's powers, and the way in which he does that is so clever, as I was really impressed slash gutted over the fact that the new King Iron Fist tournament was just a ruse and a front and a fake out pretty much to steal Zafina's powers, as she was obviously containing Azazel within her arm, and the brutal way in which Kazuya just takes that from her and then pretty much leaves her for scraps, pretty much leaving her lifeless body there. Honestly, this guy is just so brutal. And then his transformation into true Devil Kazuya. Honestly, this guy is the ultimate villain, as not only was he really clever in terms of masterminding all of his plans, but he was actually able to be successful with it and then transformed into a true demonic boss. And I just love how you get to see a lot of characters who aren't always friendly in the past Tekken entries just coming together, as all of those moments are really cool. I loved it, the brotherhood and the sisterhood in terms of loads of characters just coming together to confront Kazuya, and all of the fighting of the G Corporation. Honestly, all of those sequences are really good, and you do get to see still some rivalry that you saw taking place during the Iron Fist tournament, now taking place when Kazuya has some people on his side, and of course some people are on Jin's side, so that clash was pretty wicked. And I love Claudio as well, the fact that he was able to use all of these ancient mastermind supernatural powers to try and trap Kazuya, but then obviously Kazuya is just ultimately too powerful. And then you think that Claudio has died as well, but of course we then see in the credits that he has survived. And I love it how Lars and Lee are both leading the good team. I've always thought that there definitely should be more storyline exploration with these guys, given the fact that Lars is ultimately a son of Heihachi and Lee is an adopted son, so they definitely should be more prevalent, and I'm just hopeful that in the future installments they'll be even more prominent. I mean, I know Lars was pretty much in this game, as he definitely was fronting the hero side, he was obviously defending Jin right at the end, and he definitely was the leader, but I just want to have even more with these two, as like I said, they are connected to the Mishima family, and just seem like such cool characters. But now we have to talk about Jin, so I think honestly, he is the ultimate hero. The ultimate hero's journey is explored with this guy. I just think it was perfectly written. Firstly, his design, he just looks really cool, really intimidating, and I just love his battle with his father Kazuya. I think all of those sequences at the start and at the end, all look absolutely badass and really, really wicked. And I love it how in the past installments, he has actually caused a lot of destruction. So this guy isn't all high and mighty, isn't perfect. He has definitely caused a lot of evil, bad things to take place in the past. But he now definitely wants to atone for all of that. So all of the demonic mythology in the background with this character is so clever. So he doesn't want to give into his devil side, but he knows that the only way to defeat Kazuya is in order to do this. So he is happy to do this, but he just wants to do it in a good way. So then when we went into the other realm where he is confronting his devil side, I just honestly loved it. Jin versus Double Jin, all of those sequences are really, really good. And then when he finally is able to overpower the demon side and come out triumphant and now actually control the Double Jin stuff with a good ethos, I honestly think all of those brilliant sequences are so good. And I do actually think everybody can learn so much from Jin, especially in terms of breaking the chains that bind you and the things that are holding you back, and just trusting your heart and just fighting those inner demons, no pun intended, was just so good. And then when he is able to be free of all of this, he then has a really great confrontation with Kazuya. But because Kazuya is just so overpowered and is now going to destroy this sanctuary, then Double Jin still, no matter how much he's trying, just isn't able to stop him. But then when he returns into that realm, then Jun is able to help him and unlock his ultimate form. And we haven't seen Angel in so many games, so I think it was the right decision to embrace Jin's angelic side, and this is the way that he's able to defeat Ultimate Kazuya, which I think is so good. And just the confrontations between these two titans right at the end was just absolutely magnificent. I honestly think from a cinematography point of view, they just created all of that so well. And Jun did say that, you know, she wants him to cleanse Kazuya. And actually, this confrontation, this battle, this defeat did mean that the devil genes from both of these characters was then removed. And we then get even more confrontations with these guys, but just as pure-based humans. And then, of course, Jin is successful. There is another ending where you do get to see that Kazuya is successful, and we get to see the classic ending that we do see pretty much in every single Tekken game, where one of the Mishima or Kazama clan members is throwing another one off the cliff. So you do see that with Kazuya, who then is able to continue his plan for power. The good ending is, of course, Jin winning and then just walks away from the body of Kazuya. But then you do see somebody walking towards Kazuya who seemingly is Jun. So maybe she has actually been alive this whole time. And I mean, Jun is such a perfect, pure character. And she, of course, fell in love with Kazuya all those years ago. So maybe, actually, Kazuya can be brought back onto the good side. So I just can't wait for the next game. We might well see Jin, Jun, and Kazuya versus Reina, who is finally revealed to be another child of Heihachi. Gosh, how many children does Heihachi have? And I actually think it was really, really clever how you do see Reina across this game just being a bit of a prominent figure. You know that there's something mysterious about her, but you can't quite put your finger on it. And now we know that she actually harbors the devil gene, and she learned how to unlock her devil gene, and now she is able to be demonic Reina. So I cannot wait to see how this is going to be continued in Tekken 9, as they have just set the scene so well for a massive family confrontation. Like I said, this game is all about the Mishima and the Kazama clans. And in Tekken 9, we may well see all of them returning, which is going to be an absolutely glorious sight. But as far as Tekken 8 is concerned, like I said, I am genuinely impressed with what they were able to create from a storyline perspective, as it just all came together so well. I think it had a really great central storyline. All of the supporting characters definitely did have a lot to do. I love all of the rivalries that we were re-exploring. Certain characters definitely were able to come into their own, and it just came together in such a good way. And so for all of those reasons, from a storyline perspective, I'm going to give Tekken 8 a mega 7.5 out of 10. Now I'd love to hear from you. What did you think of Tekken 8? What do you think is going to happen next in Tekken 9? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.